Lots and lots of stories to go out this morning. I guess we should really start with this terrible story in the Mediterranean off the coast of Sicily. Lots of pictures of Mike Lynch, who was found dead with his own daughter yesterday in this incredibly sort of bizarre accident.
Yeah, it seems like originally seemed like a sort of freak natural disaster. This is Mike Lynch with his teenage daughter Hannah, and it does look as though those were two of the bodies that were found, although I think they've been moved to a mortuary and will have to be identified. Doesn't seem like any survivors, and a very, very strange sort of kind of concatenation of circumstances. First of all, that freak natural disaster, but also the background to this, you know, Mike Lynch and his recent acquittal in America.
In a big fraud case, right? Where his co-defendant was recently hit by a car.
Also recently killed in a car accident. And also just the people on board, a group of really quite high-profile legal and financial brains on this yacht, and doesn't seem to have been any survivors. So there's lots of conspiracy theories circulating. Right. And one wonders how you can you engineer a sort of freak natural disaster like this, because there was a storm. There was, you know, and but the yacht seems to have gone.
Lots of questions now about whether the windows and the hatches were all open, which they shouldn't otherwise have been.
And it seems to have gone down almost without trace, so instantly. So that doesn't seem.
Well,
to be
we had
normal.
that story yesterday. It went down in 60 seconds. You know? But also, this is the one mystery that sort of piqued my interest this morning is that they had said that the mast had been cut in half and had broken. And that was why it went down. And now it turns out that's not true.
Exactly.
That the mast is actually still on the boat.
Exactly, and this is the sort of kind of thing that films are made of, really, isn't it? With all these sort of conspiracy theories behind it. But I suppose they have to wait and...
Yeah, and we're watching now, actually, talking about natural disasters, of a water spout just off the Italian coast. It's a similar kind of thing, supposedly, that sank the boat. So there's obviously a lot of sort of interesting and strange weather going on around at the moment in that part of the world as well.
Exactly, yeah, and it looks absolutely ferocious there. I mean, even this morning, cycling through London, they were pretty gaily.
Yeah, so, it's very gaily, isn't it?
Very gaily.
Very much so. The other big story this morning, I guess, that we should look at, more politically speaking, is Labour to speed ahead with 20-mile-per-hour traffic zones. Now, you may have a view which is different from mine. We've just seen in Wales, where they blanket covered it with 20-mile-an-hour zones. They've now reversed that and said it was actually, you know, pretty much a bad idea, stupidly, protecting the economy. It did the exact opposite. But we've now got a Secretary of State for Transport, Louise Haigh, who says she's going to let any local council do whatever they want.
Yeah. Not a fan of Louise Haigh, I have to say, or her bright red hair. Look, yes, I'm a cyclist, I don't drive, but I am absolutely not in favour of slowing down traffic unnecessarily, of causing more congestion, more pollution. It's a bit like the ULEZ zones, it's a bit like the low traffic neighbourhoods. All you do is create more congestion, you disrupt the natural flow of cars. I mean, of course there are residential areas or areas around schools where where you need to force cars to slow down.
I don't think people would object to that.
Of course not. Right. But these 20-mile-an-hour zones is completely frustrating for motorists, and it stops businesses from being able to get around, do their job, do the deliveries, all of that. So
it also creates a kind of hostile environment, if you like, for drivers, because drivers then end up getting more and more tickets. I mean, we saw a story just the other day, 18 million tickets given out over the course of the last year. A lot of people just not paying them because they don't even know that they've broken the rules.
And drivers, for a while now in London, drivers have become the kind of cash cow. You know, you absolutely fleece them for parking, you fleece them for everything, for tiny infractions.
The ULEZ, congestion charge.
Congestion charge, but crossing the corner of a bus lane when they're turning in the middle of the night, and there'll be a camera somewhere that's taken, you know, absolutely. And I think that drivers feel extremely as though they're being hounded out. Well, if across the country there were good public transport alternatives, I'm sure lots of drivers would prefer to be able to hop on a bus, hop on a train, get to work. But the fact is, if you're a business, if you're in a rural area, if you need to get to the shop, if you have children, you need to be able to drive. And I'm not, you know, I'm certainly not pro this hostile environment for drivers.
No, absolutely right. And of course, the other thing for a lot of people, I mean, I've got a friend who's actually given up driving in London because he got so many 20-mile-an-hour, because you get tickets for doing 22, 23 and a 20. And he said he was getting so many tickets, and he works and drives around a lot for a living. He said he's just given up because, you know, he just knew he was going to get banned from driving with all the points and all the insurance costs and everything else. And it's really, really dangerous, I think, to attack ordinary, you know, law-abiding citizens like this.
It literally has become as though driving is a crime. It's almost impossible. Financially, it's almost impossible unless you're, you know, right up there, and it's very difficult for cabbies and things like that to actually just get on with their jobs.
Exactly right. And
I mean, I overtake cars.
Yeah.
And I'm on my bike.
Absolutely.
So, you know.
Well, I mean, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
An Amazon driver killed by a thief trying to steal his van. Terrible story. This one's in the Sun on page 19. The Ford Transit van was deliberately slammed into two parked cars. Neighbours rushed to help, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. This is in West Yorkshire. The van was found abandoned 6 miles away in Leeds. And so, you know, just another one of these sort of random, senseless, violent attacks leaves a man dead.
It leaves a man dead. I think he got crushed between the cars. It's just absolutely appalling. I think these Amazon drivers, delivery drivers, are actually quite vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just talking about how parcels just get stolen in broad daylight off people's doorsteps and things. And we seem to be really reaching kind of lawless Britain on the streets, and yet our current government are obsessed with chasing people online who use hurty words.
Right.
This is the thing. There is plenty of crime out there to go after. There's plenty of, you know, we hear that the police are overstretched and they can't do their jobs. Well, maybe they need to spend less time trawling through social media, dancing around in rainbow colours, and actually get on with policing our streets.
Yes.
This kind of crime, a delivery driver being basically crushed to death next to his van, should not be happening.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, one chink of light, though, in the armour, perhaps, is that Manchester Police have just announced that this year, during Pride events, they do not expect their police officers to dance around. They expect them to police the event. They're not allowed to wear badges. They're not allowed to, you know, put rainbows on their uniforms. So maybe the tide is turning a little bit.
We have to be grateful for small mercies, but it comes to something when you have to sort of be grateful that the police aren't going to wear rainbow, I don't know, hot pants.
I know, absolutely ridiculous.
Frankly.
Have you been watching the Democratic National Convention? Because we've got a couple of clips for you. Tim Walz was speaking last night. He's, of course, the Democratic vice presidential nominee. Let's have a look at what he had to say.
You know, you might not know it, but I haven't given a lot of big speeches like this. But I have given a lot of pep talks. So let me finish with this, team. It's the fourth quarter. We're down a field goal, but we're on offense and we've got the ball. We're driving down the field. And boy, do we have the right team. Kamala Harris is tough. Kamala Harris is experienced, and Kamala Harris is ready. Our job for everyone watching is to get in the trenches and do the blocking and tackling. 1 inch at a time, 1 yard at a time, 1 phone call at a time, 1 door knock at a time, 1 $5 donation at a time.
He's nicked a bit of that from Al Pacino on Any Given Sunday, where he makes that speech about, you know,
is it
it's a game of inches.
Yeah.
It's every inch, you know, he does that. But I mean, he's a better orator than Kamala Harris. But I'm just reading a poll straight after his speech, which says that basically they're all panicking inside the Democratic headquarters because it looks as though the polling numbers are not working out for them. Since the convention started, they've actually gone backwards. Good.
And look, that they have their great vibes at the moment, but vibes are not votes. And, you know, they can get all excited about the DNC at the moment, and they have a few rousing speeches, and that was okay, actually, from a former, what was he, a school teacher or a baseball coach or something?
Something like that,
yeah, something like that.
He's known as Tampon Tim, though, because he insisted on putting female sanitary products
in the boys'
bathrooms all across the state of Minnesota. So, I mean, you know, he's no...
Don't get woker than that, Mike.
No, he's no centrist dad, I'll tell you that. But let's have a look at yet another stunted-up phone call that Kamala Harris seems to love to put out as a Democratic advert. Have a look.
Tim, it's Kamala. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. How about you?
I'm good. You're going to be fantastic tonight.
Well, I'm
so good.
I'm ready. Thanks for the opportunity. It's going to be electric in there, and the messages this entire week are so great. So go down there and deliver a freedom speech.
That's right. And you know what? Just feel the love in the room. It's just, it's you know, if we've been seeing it everywhere we go. Enjoy the moment. It's a special night for you.
Well, thank you, and it's good advice. I am really looking forward to it. I think the Minnesotans are going to be pretty cool, so it'll be fun. We'll talk to you when it's over.
I'll talk to you when it's over. Take care.
past the sick bag.
Yeah,
I mean,
literally.
this is like about the 4th phone call now.
Yeah, this is
they're
just
probably in the same
unnecessary.
building. They're certainly in the same city. She's probably going to see him about 2 minutes after she puts the phone down. You know, I mean, do they think people are that stupid?
Do they really? It is. It's an insult to people's intelligence, actually, that kind of pathetic footage. I mean, really, give us a break.
I know, it really is. We've got some more clips from Bill Clinton, which we'll show you coming up in a little while. Also, we'll be talking about a very weird story from France. I don't know if you saw this one. Alan Delon, who died recently, apparently wanted his own dog euthanised to be buried with him. And the family have gone, we're not doing that.
No,
The
they've
dog's
taken the
fine.
dog in,
And there's a great picture of the dog in the Telegraph, actually.